Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody had a great holiday season and hopefully we have a better new year than 2020. So hope 2021 brings us a better life and we can get over this craziness of the year 2020. So if you like before I go any further, I have a lot of drama to talk about and a lot of news. But before I go into that, if you like my channel, you like everything, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. So it is truly free. So hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to know notification when a new episode comes up, go ahead and hit the notification button as well. So anyway, like I said, we have a lot of stuff to cover. I am the voice of gay porn. If you don't know me, if this is the first episode you're watching, I produce gay porn. So some of the things that are happening across in the porn news world, this has nothing to do with gay or straight. It's just porn and individual is just covering everything. I'm sure if you haven't heard of it, well, I'm sure everybody out there has heard of Pornhub. But if you don't know what's going on with Pornhub, it's just some crazy stuff is going on. So Pornhub is pretty much a tube site, and they're owned by a big conglomerate company called MindGeek, and MindGeek owns all these porn sites, gay and straight. They own a whole bunch of tube sites, and they're like the biggest in the industry. They are the pinnacle of, they're like the highest, and Pornhub gets millions of hits per day. So Pornhub is like saying, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, Google. It's up there in the adult industry. So most likely if you watch porn, you have stumbled across Pornhub along your travels when you watch porn. So anyway, what happened was this reporter from the New York Times, what he did was he did an article regarding Pornhub about how there's a lot of underage females appearing on Pornhub. You don't know if they're 14, 16, 15, or 18 and over. So to explain what happens with Pornhub, if you don't really understand what happens, is Pornhub is pretty much an open source where you can upload your own videos. So for example, like for me and the people in my industry, we videotape porn and you can buy it. And what happens is when you watch one of our episodes on one of the websites that we film for as a porn producer, and I understand we do it for membership sites and you're paying for a membership, what happens is you can download those videos, save it onto computer, and then you can upload it to those tube sites. Just like here on YouTube, I'm videotaping right now and I upload it to YouTube for you guys to watch. However, YouTube, they have people in place and you can't put adult videos up, and there's certain content that you can, and certain footage that you can put up on YouTube that is allowed and not allowed. The problem with Pornhub is you can upload videos, and then what happens is they're not policing it. So people are making, and on top of that, not only are people uploading from other people's content, but then you can go ahead and film yourself, just like I'm doing now, and put it up, but of course having sex, and then you can put it up on Pornhub, and then you can earn money on Pornhub by uploading your personal videos or whatever the case may be to Pornhub. So what happens is Pornhub doesn't police it. So basically you don't know if the girl is whatever age. So of course if they're under 18 years old, it's child. So, and it's illegal. So what happens is, of course, Visa and MasterCard and the processing companies are picking up on this. So you say, well, how could they process? Because Pornhub is free. It's free to an extent, but if you want to watch private videos, they have a premium level that you go ahead, you take out your credit card, and then you pay for this premium level, and that premium level has private videos, and then of course those private videos, the owners of those videos earn money, a partial of that money, from Pornhub. So, let's say if you're an up-and-coming porn person, you want to shake your booty in front of the camera, let's say, and you want to earn money, you can do a premium channel, and then next thing you know, you can make money earning, money from Pornhub. So now what happens is, since they're not policing it, they don't know what's going up. And this has been an industry problem for a long, long time since these tube sites have coming out. So it's just not only Pornhub, it's other tube sites as well, that they don't really police it. And then what happens is, people like us who produce it, that earn money on it, people are stealing it, and then they're uploading a full scene that that you normally would pay for. Now what you see it free on the tube site. So they don't police it, and you don't know what age. They don't ask for age verification and the paperwork that goes for filming a scene. So now this article comes out. Visa and MasterCard gets a hold of this article. So now what happens is, Visa and MasterCard got involved, and now they pulled out. They said they're not processing, and they lost their processing privileges to process Pornhub. And now the federal government is coming down on Pornhub, because now there's a lot of illegal footage up on this tube site. And the people in the industry were kind of concerned about this, because it's going to open up a can of worms with what about other tube sites, and what about like OnlyFans and social media, because you have a lot of these guys that go on social media, they film themselves, and then what happens is no one's policing them, because then, let's say I am a model, I film myself for social media and I'm earning money, and then I bring in my friend to have sex, and then my friend, I don't get their ID and no one's checking on that. So there's a whole thing in the industry to talk about. This might explode and turn into a nightmare for everybody in the industry who does the social media and all that stuff. But in the meantime, Pornhub is getting the brunt of it, and they took down a lot of these videos. And now, of course, since they got caught and they were exposed, now they're starting to police their own content, which they should have done a long time ago anyway, but they didn't. So now what they're doing is they're taking down millions. They have so many scenes up on Pornhub, but a company like Pornhub, where they rely on so many people going to their site, and I'm sure a lot of people, because of this exposure, are still going to their site, but a lot of scenes that you're used to seeing are not up there anymore. And of course, it's affecting all their territories, all their sites, everything that they own. So even if you're gay and you go to Xtube, there's a lot of things that are not up on Xtube anymore. So if you're wondering why it's not up there, this is the reason why it's not up there. So, and now what happens, a lot of people aren't making money, because a lot of people were making really good money off their own private videos they were uploading to Pornhub and their other properties as well. And now, no one's making money, and of course it hurts them in the pocket as well, because they're not making that revenue. I don't really feel sorry for Pornhub, because they're still making a hell of a lot of money in advertising and those banners and those pop-up ads. But again, it's going to be difficult for them to process it, because everything is done by credit card. So since Visa and MasterCard pooled their processing, those advertisers can't pay the bill, so they're not getting any money in. So that's what happened so far up until now. But recently, as I didn't report it sooner, because I wanted to get the gist of the whole story and find out and make sure that I'm reporting the correct information. Now Visa is kind of giving them the privilege of due charging. I think what Visa is doing now, and MasterCard, is letting them charge for the advertisers that are legit businesses. Let's say for myself, let's say if I'm advertising my business, and now they can process, it's not illegal information, because I'm reporting, I'm showing that we're a business, we're over 18, we have the proper paperwork. So anybody on the professional end of it can get it processed. But the amateur stuff, the people that put it up, the amateur, they're not getting processed. So that's what's going on right now. So Visa is limiting to what can be processed. So it's putting a hold to a lot of these people that stay at home and film their own porn and uploading it, because right now they can't do it, because now they have to go through a whole process, and Visa is not letting Pornhub process it. But it's just not Pornhub, but it's the other properties that Pornhub owns along the way. Now, I don't know how it's going to affect the other tube sites that Pornhub doesn't own, because it's under the umbrella of MindGeek. So MindGeek doesn't own all these tube sites, but of course how it's going to affect. Is this going to open up a can of worms? It's going to affect social media, like for just for fans, only fans, and Twitter accounts and all this other stuff. If it's going to affect that we don't know. So again, leave your comments. I like to hear your opinion on what you think is what you think is this going. How is this going to affect the industry on the social media and those tube sites? For me, I'm a producer of porn. To me, I think there should be a lot more. For me, I think there should be a lot more control over it, because what happens is we work very hard getting models in. We pay the models. This is what I do for a living. And then somebody, one of the consumers, will steal the content and upload it to Pornhub. And although you can say, well, I'm paying for it in the membership, right, but it's not yours to take and then upload it someplace else. You are owning that membership to watch it on that membership board. You're not allowed to download it. If you want to download it and watch it on your computer privately, that's great. But once you upload it to a tube site, then it becomes illegal. And that's where I think myself and a lot of people in our industry have a problem with it, because when you do that, you're uploading the whole scene, and it's not fair for us in the industry who are on the professional side. So, leave your comments down below. Love to hear what you have to say about that. In other news, I thought this was kind of funny as I was trying to do my research for this episode. There is a Escort here in Broward County in South Florida here in Fort Lauderdale. And he's an escort, and the guy is 46 years old. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's in trouble with the IRS, but okay, that's one part of the story. I'm like, 46 years old, and he's an escort. I'm like, what? I'm like, who escorts at 46 years old? I'm like, really? So I'm kind of like, I got to see what this guy looks like first before I start reading the story about him getting in trouble with the IRS. So, of course, I looked at his pictures, and at 46 years old, okay. Granted, he's a hot daddy. He's muscular. I don't know if he's gay or straight, but he escorts not for women, but for men. He's a gay male escort, and he's a hot daddy guy. So I'm like, oh, okay. But I thought for 46, that was kind of old to be an escort. So I'm like, okay, to me, an escort is like between 18 and 30 years old, that type of, kind of guy. But I'm like, okay, whatever floats this guy boat. So apparently what happens is he started a business. He made it into a business, an LLC, and he incorporated himself. And what he did was called JK Training. And what he did was he was a male escort. He went out and did his jobs. He considered himself an independent contractor because, yeah, it's an independent contractor. So he underreported his earnings because he got checks. He got, cash apps and all that other stuff. So when it was come time for doing his taxes, he underreported. So if you're an escort out there, even the IRS wants a piece of your ass. So with that being said, he underreported. So he underreported his earnings, and it ended up within 4 years, 2015, 16, 17, and 2018. Since he underreported, he owes the IRS more than $280,000 in back taxes, and of course in interest and penalty. And if you have ever dealt with the IRS, it's the worst thing than anything. It's worse than dealing with the mafia. So of course, if you don't pay them, then of course you're in big trouble. So he owes the IRS a lot of money, and now of course they did an investigation. They arrested him, and he went to court this year in 2020. So I guess 2020 wasn't good for him either. And it ended up that he has to go to court. He was found guilty. As he found guilty, they're going to do a judgment against him on March 2021 of this coming new year, and he could face up to 3 years in prison. So I thought that was very interesting of that. So my last thing on gossip, I just want to say a shout out, or one guy that we want you to look out for. We filmed a guy. His name is Mason Thorne. He's an upcoming porn star, 19 years old. And the reason why I am telling you watch out for him, the guy is young, dumb, full of cum. but when the camera's on, he's a great, great porn star. He kind of reminds me of a Jeff Stryker. Of course, I'm aging myself, and for you guys that are out there that are a little, just, my age or a little older, you know who Jeff Stryker is. And for you youngsters who don't know who Jeff Stryker is, Google Jeff Stryker and you'll know who I'm talking about. But Jeff Stryker was a big porn star in the 80s and the early 90s, and he reminds me of a younger version of Jeff Stryker. Matter of fact, if they did a documentary of Jeff Stryker, Mason Thorne would be the perfect guy to play Jeff Stryker. Super great guy. When the camera's on, he knows how to perform. His dick gets hard. He knows he's the quintessential porn star. And of course, in this day and age, we really don't have big porn stars like we used to have in the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s and even the early 2000s. But if we took a time machine and went back and took Mason with us, he would be that quintessential porn star up and coming. So keep an eye out for Mason Thorne. He has appeared on a lot of websites that I have filmed and I haven't filmed, but he's up and coming. He's going to be working for some huge studios. And you'll be seeing a lot of him, so count my word on watching Mason Thorne. So once again, if you like my channel, you like what I spoke about, we'll be doing some more updates and talking about gossip and news going forward as I report. If you like my channel, subscribe, hit the notification button. Oh, and a lot of people out there are complaining about the audio. There's nothing wrong with my camera. There's nothing wrong with the audio. This is the same camera that I'm filming this. I film my adult videos, and we don't have a problem with the sound. We don't have a problem when we play back and we edit this episode. For some reason, it's YouTube that once it goes uploaded to YouTube, the sound kind of lowers. For some reason, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the problem, and I hear it too. But so if the audio is a little low, just turn up your speakers. You don't have to leave comments, nasty comments that, it's my camera, it's my mic. No, just turn up your speakers a little bit. Put on headphones. If you're watching it on your TV, you're going to have to put the volume up on the TV. So that's all I ask in the meantime until we figure it out. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you again. Again, hit that subscribe button and notification, and thanks for stopping by.